it would really put you ahead. Okay, so on to trait number 4 of what top students actually do to get top grades. Now, most students will write everything. Top students write what matters the most. Now, what I find is that note-taking is something that I would say 80% of students do wrong. Why is it that students don't do note-taking properly? Well, they don't know what to take notes on. Simple, right? Because they haven't glanced at their specification beforehand. But they also don't know how to take notes for maximum benefit, for maximum retention. And so because of that, students just end up making notes on everything. So what's going to separate you, right? What do you need to do when it comes to taking notes? Well, that's where looking at the specification or the learning outcomes that I talked about earlier on, that's where that's going to come in handy, because once you've identified 1 to 2 key learning outcomes, then you know when I go into my lesson, that's what I'm going to take notes on. So in this book I was looking at here, we're talking about how to make salts. You know, when I go into my lesson, that's the key thing I want to focus on. I am going to focus on specifically, step by step, what is the process that I need to make salts. Remember that 80-20% rule. 20% of the most valuable content will give you 80% of your results. So when you're looking at your specification and you're looking at the learning outcomes, you are trying to identify those 20% of key content that you should focus on. And because you have checked the specification beforehand, your note taking will therefore hone in on that 20% of content. Okay, now you might want to learn a bit more about how to take notes effectively. I have done another video on that. I'm going to link that at the top of this video or perhaps in the description down below.